心よ燃えよ魂よ吠えよ父さん今こそ八門奮興の陣
このマダラがお前を最強と呼んでやる。
Hey guys, I'm Oxy, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make an immortal melee build in Fallout 76. First we are going to start with my special distribution. As you can see, I have 12 strengths, 1 perception, 10 endurance, 6 charisma, 12 intelligence, 7 agility and 8 luck, but they are boosted also from legendary perks, which we are going to check in a bit. Now let's see the perk cards, and we're going to start with strength. So I do have traveling pharmacy because I'm carrying a lot of camps, stim packs, and I do have paint rain because this perk works really well in power armor, and we are using power armor all the time with this build. I do have blocker, which is quite useful because we are going to be close to our enemies, so we are going to get hit and you want to reduce that melee damage. I do have Incisor for extra armor penetration, and I do have all the slugger perks on rank 1. Now why do I have them on rank 1? It's very simple. The damage in this game, it's not multiplicative, it's additive. So even if I have all the slugger perks on rank 3, I'm getting 4 points of extra damage out of them. So it's not worth it at all. You should have them on rank 1. It's only taking 3 points out of strength, so you have enough space for other perk cards that you want. And yeah, when we go into perception, I do have only concentrated fire because I do use shotguns in this build to cripple enemies. In endurance, we want to have high endurance, of course, because we are full health with this build. So I do have life giver for extra health. I do have camp find because we are using camps with this build to boost them, so it's quite useful to have that. I do have solar power, which is giving us more strength and endurance, but you don't really need that. You can switch this up for something else that you would like, but I like to get that extra strength and endurance during daytime. And we do have fireproof to get some resistance from explosions and fire damage, and I do have rejuvenated, which is giving us some extra life when you are fully fed and hydrated, so it's actually quite good. When we're going to charisma, it's my pretty standard charisma on every single build that I have. The first one is going to be Field Surgeon, which makes the stim packs to work much more faster. I do have Strange in Numbers, which makes the mutations to work better in team. So you're going to get positive effects from the mutations to be much more stronger. I do have Tenderizer, which is just extra damage, quite useful, especially because we are going to be close to the enemy. In intelligence, I do have first aid, which makes the stim pack to heal you much more. I do have also power user because we are using power armor, of course, and we need fusion cores. So this will make the fusion core to last much more longer. And I do have batteries included because we are carrying a lot of fusion cores and they are very heavy if you don't have this perk. And I'm using also other weapons on this build, and you will see that in a bit. So I do need that per card, and I do have stable tools, which makes the automatic melee weapons to break slower. I still think that this perk need a buff. Still feel like the automatic melee weapons are broken too fast. When we go into agility, I have Action Boy for extra AP. I do have True Hiker because I'm carrying a lot of food buffs with this build, and it's quite useful. And Born Survivor on rank 1 just to give us an automatic stim pack when our health is too low. In luck, I do have Strange Genes to keep our mutations. I do have Good with Salt to make all those food buffs do not spoil as fast. And of course, I do have Bloody Mass for extra damage. Now here in agility, you could say that you can have also adrenaline to get some extra damage. It's quite useful, but I'm gonna explain you why you don't need adrenaline and why this build is so efficient in a bit when we're going to check out the weapons. And we're going to check out now the legendary perks. As you can see, I do have legendary endurance and legendary strength, which is giving us +5 strength and 5 endurance. I do have collateral damage, which give us a slight chance for anything killed with a melee weapon to explode. Taking one for the team, it's extra damage when you're in a team and enemies are attacking you. It's very useful. What rats? I just have it here because I don't like to use Radaway, so this is very good for me. It's more like just a preference perk that I like to have. And Power Sprinter. This perk is actually amazing. It makes you to burn less AP when you're running in power armor. And I like to run with this build because I do have Pain Train. And also when you're using automatic melee weapons, they eating up your AP. So when you're running, let's say you're running to an enemy, which is quite fast, you want to pull out your chainsaw to kill him, and you don't have AP anymore because you use it all from sprinting, because sprinting takes a lot of AP. With this perk, it doesn't take anymore. So it's quite useful for me. But there is other perks that I do suggest you to check out for this build. One of them would be Power Armor Reboot. Gives you a chance to revive yourself when you are down in Power Armor, quite useful. And other than that, of course, Legendary Intelligence can be quite useful. And another one that I do suggest you to get is going to be Electric Absorption. Can be quite useful. Energy Attack would heal you and recharge your Fusion Core. Quite useful, but obviously not every single enemy is doing energy damage on you. Now let's check out the weapons for this build. And now let's check out the weapons. And the first weapon, it's my main weapon, which is a chainsaw, of course. It's an anti-armor power attack damage, taking less damage when power attacking. This is the reason why I don't need every single perk that can boost your damage. Why? As you can see, it's saying 40% power attack damage, and this is a powered melee weapon, so every time when I use it, I'm getting 40% more damage and I'm taking 40% less damage. It's an amazing combination. But even if you just get a 2-star anti-armor power attack damage, executioner power attack damage, vampire power attack damage, it's really good. The best perk to have on a chainsaw is going to be power attack damage. That way you don't need to have every single damage perk. And as you can see, the damage right now it's 108. I do have also some buffs running right now, but usually it's around 90 something. And as you can see, the speed it's very fast, so you're gonna do that damage extremely fast. The next weapon it's a pepper shaker, which is 2-shot faster fire rate, reduce weight. I use this weapon to cripple Scorch Beast wings and basically to cripple every single enemy that I want to get crippled, and after I can just kill them with a chainsaw. But it's quite useful when you're fighting flying enemies. That's why I have it on me. The next one is my executioner, power attack damage +1 strength chainsaw. Again, power attack damage very useful, and I use this one when the boss is below 40% health. And the next one, it's my Tesla rifle, which is just a quad 1-star Tesla rifle. I use this weapon to tag enemies in events. I use this weapon in eviction notice, and it's quite useful, you know, because I'm a melee build, so I need to get close to get a hit on my targets. With this, I can just shoot the ground, and the Tesla arc will go between every single enemy. Quite useful in events where there is a lot of enemies and you want to get a hit on each of them. And as you can see, I'm carrying a lot of fusion cells. This is another good reason to have batteries included to reduce the ammunition weight. The next one is my Vampire Swing Speed +1 Endurance Chainsaw. A pretty good chainsaw. I do prefer power attack damage. It's much more better. but I got this one from an event and I like it. Now let's check out the power armor. It's a full set of T45 power armor, and let's check out the pieces. I do have an assassin, +1 endurance and reduce weapon weight reduction. And I do have a cloaking one, the chest piece, as you can see, +1 strength, weapon weight reduction. With the jetpack, I do have a Ghoul Slayer one with +1 strength and weapon weight reduction. And I do have a mutant one with +1 strength and weapon weight reduction. So as you can see, I'm trying to go with weapon weight reduction, and +1 strength or +1 endurance can be quite useful. And I'm going with random legendary prefixes, really. I do have a Zealot, +1 endurance, weapon weight reduction, and yeah, as you can see, random perks, random legendary effects, just because what I really need is to have a good secondary and tertiary perk. Now, of course, if you have Ghoul Slayer, it's quite useful because you can reduce damage from ghouls. If you have Zealot, it's quite useful because there is a lot of Scorch enemies in this game. So those pieces are extremely useful because they are reducing percentage damage from those enemies. As you can see, 15% less damage from Scorched and any type of Scorch enemy. So that's extremely useful. It's 15%, and percentage damage reduction. It's one of the best things in this game. So in the future, I would prefer to change up this mutant one for Mutant Slayer. Would be much more better. I would prefer this cloaking one, let's say for Exterminator, to reduce damage from bugs and Mirelurks. But in time I will do that also. Now let's check out the mutations that I'm using with this build. There's really nothing that special. I do have Bare Bones, which is reducing your overall strength, but you need this if you're using power armor. Otherwise, every single time when you jump with the marsupial mutation and you fall down, it will do the superhero landing, which is not good for your knees. So you must have Bare Bones if you're using power armor. Carnivore, obviously, because we are using a bunch of meat buffs, which are the best ones to get extra melee damage and endurance. Electrical charge, it's quite useful. You can shock your enemies when they are attacking you. Marsupial, it's a must-have perk to just jump around. Speed Demon, quite useful to run faster. And Twisted Muscle for extra melee damage. So that's pretty much the build. Nothing that crazy, nothing super extra special, but the good thing about it, it's really efficient. It's a really good synergy between the legendary perks, the weapon, and the armor overall. It's just the perfect synergy. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this build. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in the next one.